Well, yeah,
Yeah. Sorry about that.
no
Okay.
worries. So, to introduce myself, I've been in the financial planning industry for almost 3 decades now. And I have been consulting a lot of people, including celebrities, business owners, corporates, and helping them, manage their money in a very simple way, making the things very simple. In fact, my aim has always been to make the complex simple so that you enjoy the process of managing your money. And yes, I have my I'm also the CEO and co-founder of Money Prastha, and I also have Financially Smart, where I aim to make the complex simple and reach out to people through my YouTube channel and through my courses and videos.
Amazing, amazing. So, to kind of put it in like absolute layman terms, I think the reason we are here today is to kind of make the entire process of starting, to invest really easy. We are going to tackle the basics. We are going to ask very simple questions. Again, here I'm really really new to the whole idea of investing, and I have like a bunch of questions that I have kind of written down here, and we can start from there. And once like we get going with it, I would really like encourage everyone who's in the audience to like unmute themselves and ask their questions, because I think there is no better place than this particular webinar here to kind of clear out those basic doubts with respect to investing money, and anything that you have in your head. And I think, yeah, so without wasting much time, I think I'm just going to ask a few of many of the questions that I have here.
Sure.
Uh, all right. So the number one being, what exactly is Money Prastha all about?
Okay. So Money Prastha is your platform to manage your money in a very simple and effective way. At Money Prastha, we are here to handhold you and help you manage your money. In fact, to start investing, you need to have someone who can guide you, advise you, and handhold you, because you teenagers are new to investing. So, if anyone is new and wants to invest in the smart way, we are here to guide you and take you through the process so that you enjoy the process.
Right. So when you say that it's about investing, um, then the whole question comes about who is the right candidate to invest, because there's this whole understanding when it comes to investing that I need money in order to invest. And if I don't have money, then what am I going to invest? So
Right.
it's paradoxical like that.
Yeah, Sanjana, that's a classic question that I always get, and especially from teenagers. So they say, I would love to invest, but I don't have the money or I don't have enough money.
I would
Yeah.
request everyone in the audience to mute their mics.
Right.
uh Wait,
I
yeah.
think someone real me has to be muted.
I think I'm just going to take the liberty, being the host, to just mute everybody. Right, I've done that. So sorry about that, Nita. Yeah, we
No.
can continue.
Okay. So, as I said, that's a classic question where everyone says, especially teenagers, they say, I want to invest, but I don't have enough money. Or there are even people who are earning today and they say that, let me accumulate a sum of money and then start investing.
Right.
But as I always say, and I will repeat it again, and I say that it's not about how much money you have, it's how much money you keep from what you have. So even if you have, say,
Right.
1,000 rupees, you need to decide that I need to keep a certain percentage, which can be as low as 10% to start with. I am going to start saving from today. So the objective is about starting now. Believe me, even people who earn a crore have the same problem because their lifestyle is such. So it's not that if you have more money, you will be able to invest more. It's about starting, and money is about having a saving habit. It's about having discipline and consistency. Once you
Right.
have that, you're well on your way to achieving, financial freedom and being free.
Yeah, financial freedom. I think we hear this word a lot. It's really like buzzing. I'm like financially free, and like financial freedom is really important. And so I'm actually like coming from the whole mind space of say an 18 to 23, 24-year-old, mindset,
Right.
wherein I think we are fascinated by the idea of saving and investing and doubling our money and being smart about our finances. But, um, you know, I think the roadblocks for us starts from like, where do we invest? Okay, assuming that we have done the first bit of saving, right?
Mm.
Which is actually very difficult. I think we have to talk about saving as as one part of it for sure. But then the starting point and like where and how, money prastha can actually be that step for us, so to say,
Right. So the first thing for anything is about starting with saving, as I would say, because you need money to invest. Okay. And you need money coming in a disciplined and consistent way. So as a teenager, as you said, the age group from 18 to 20, 21, or in that group, you could get a lot of money. One, maybe in the form of gifts, you have received money from your parents, grandparents. You have received, maybe you can do some internships now. Once you're in college, you have earned some money there. If you are able to save this money in a disciplined way and start investing, Money Prastav is a platform where you can come. First, you can identify your goals. You can decide maybe today, I want to go on a vacation to Paris maybe after a year. And I want to plan for that. Exciting. So, with that in mind, you can start planning for today. How much do I need for that? For that,
right,
go to Paris, it would cost, tickets would be one of the costs. It could be the, stay over there and various things, what you would want to eat. So you make an entire plan. So with that end in mind, you start today. Okay, so how much do I need to save now? And then
right,
you need to have prepared with a smart goal. And there, Money Prasna will actually help you, because first you can set your goal. And once your goal is set, you can understand, okay, this is, if I even save, say, 1,000 rupees from today, and I have got some lump sum which I have saved because I've got money in my piggy bank or my savings account, that can be allocated to this. Then
right.
you can easily start planning towards your goal of having a vacation in Paris, or maybe buying the best gadget that you want, or maybe
Right.
someone who just wants to have experiences than buying gadgets. It's all up to you. It's your choice.
Right. So this goal setting thing. So I mean, I've used the app, and I'm talking about. Are you talking about the same, feature in that, wherein you can, as soon as you enter your details and stuff like that, you can actually set a goal. There's a feature on the app, which is actually
Right.
really, really cool. I think that was the first thing that caught my attention. I mean, leisure like that, as it sounds like, take a vacation. There's something like as basic as student loan as well, which is
Absolutely.
which was so amazing to see that, what you could have a dream which is very leisure like, and you could have a very like need based dream, like, student loan, you want to study further, and this is some serious business that's happening here, which is quite interesting.
Right.
And yeah, now that I'm like thinking about the app, it makes
Right.
sense.
So, like Sanjana, I talked about financial freedom. So financial
Right,
freedom is actually, it's a choice you make, because it's not about saying that, okay, I'm going to work for some years and then just stop working for money. It's about making your money work for you. That is financial freedom. Because if you start from now and get into the habit and discipline of saving and investing, you can ensure after a certain period that you decide, your money starts working for you, and you can have the choice how much you want to work, when you want to work, with whom you want to work, or whether you want to just travel, and
right.
how you can make use of it. So it's about the freedom of choice. That is what is financial freedom.
Wow, that's such a good point. Yeah. And like you said, so assuming that we have say a person like, the friend that I just got a question from. Um, so she is pretty young, I would say. She's still in her early 20s, and her financial status is such that she is actually wholly and solely responsible for her entire house, and like she's taking responsibility to run the house, so to say. And she has this question that, can you manage my money? Is that was her DM. That was the only message that she had for me. Can you manage my money? To which I said, you know what, you should definitely join the webinar. So I mean, I'm yet to check if she's here or not, but what would you tell her?
Right. So again, the first thing, it boils down to the same thing. One, you need to see where you are today. like, okay, you have financial responsibilities, you're having family responsibilities that need to be taken care of, or you may have a loan which is already existing, a credit card loan or an educational loan. So first, the important thing is about managing your debt, because you need to realize, rather than investing, if you're still paying your EMIs, does it really make sense? When you're going to get, I mean, when you invest, you have to think of the long term, and in the long term you'll start getting returns. So first, you need to manage your debt well. You need to keep aside a set of amount for your emergencies, your contingency funding. Like in this case, as you said, she would have parents, and there could be problems where the day-to-day expenses have to be taken care of. So
Right.
there, I would not advise her to jump in into investing. First, she has to take care of the basics. That is, ensure enough money is available, maybe in a liquid fund or a savings account, to take care of at least 3 to 6 months of expenses. And this has really helped a lot of clients who have been in this I mean, when we have experienced the pandemic all of a sudden.
Right.
So the emergency and contingency funding is very, very important. This is called the risk management. The investment comes later. So definitely Money Prastha can help you. You can come in, you can assess your goals, you can see how much you require. You need to understand where you are today. And
Today.
once you have kept aside an amount of money for investing, which can be invested for the long term, then it can start investing. Otherwise, you need to keep your money in liquid funds, which also can be done through Money Prastha. We also have mutual liquid funds, wherein it's an emergency fund where you can pull out your money in 24 hours. But when it comes to investing, we need to think of about long-term investing. And as I said, long-term investing will help you generate wealth. So you
Right.
need to set aside the amounts in such a way that you need to have various buckets, or I call it as jars, in which you need to set aside your money. So
Right.
for her, as again, I come back, she has to first take care of where she is today, the current situation, and then start investing.
Right. Right. So assuming now this is one, category of people wherein money is still, they're not there. Assuming now we move to the next bracket where they're barely saving, or maybe they can save a little more, but they still are, struggling to like save. Okay, but they do have the capacity to invest. Now, what would your advice be to someone who has the bare minimum funds, not too much, but how should they, approach this whole aspect of investing?
Right. So for this category, I would say the best thing is, the right way of saving. Normally, what we always do is spend first, save later. That's the old way. The right way and the correct way of spending, of doing it, is save first, pay yourself first, and spend later.
Right.
Now, why do I say that? It's because you need to have a saving budget, not a spending budget. If you have a saving budget, first to decide what are your personal expenses and all that, keep it aside. And you pay yourself also an amount which you need to invest. So if I'm having, say, 5,000 that is coming to me, I ensure that 2,000 is going for my saving. It is going in the form of an SIP, which is a systematic investment plan, because it's a disciplined way of saving. And the balance I automatically get adjusted to. So it's about having that discipline, ensuring having a savings budget, not a spending budget. You can still, once you save that amount, you can have guilt-free spending.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. Then you don't need to think, oh, I've had that coffee, but I was not able to save. No, you've saved
Yeah.
first, and then you can spend later. So, it's always about, you need to have guilt-free spending.
Right. And coming to that, then there's this category of people who want fast returns. Like they just want everything really quick. So if they put in money today, they want like paise double ka bo rahe, I mean, not
Right.
literally, but they really want the money to like double fast, and they want an investing option that's going to give them quick returns. So what do you think about that approach?
So yes, so these people have money to invest, I believe, and they have taken care of all their, risk management things, all the important contingency and everything. But remember, higher the return, higher the risk. So you need to take a calculated risk, that when you go for quick fixes, you can also, you should have the stomach to take the fall if you go in for riskier investments. So
Right.
you need to take a calculated risk, I would say. And yes, for starters, for teenagers, I would recommend starting in the form of SIPs, either in mutual funds or in stocks, because that's the best way. Stocks, I would say, still I would advise mutual funds more, because stocks is still more risky, because it's, a particular company. Your risk is not diversified. So diversification is the key when you invest. So
Right.
you need to ensure a fixed amount again. So I go back to this simple thing. Rule one is never lose your money. And rule two is never forget rule one.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. And yeah, so I mean, this is a good one. So I have another question. So what do you think, according to you, is like the right age to invest? Is there like an ideal age that, oh, I'm now ready to invest? Or is it
The ideal age to invest is when you're able to save and, keep some money aside. In fact, I have gone to the extent of advise parents, to start investing when their child is just born. So even if they
oh,
set aside 1,000 rupees in the name of their kid, which is, every month, imagine when their child is 25 years, the money is in crores because of the beauty of the law of compounding. Because believe me, it's the time value of money, time, which is there in the favor, and the long term investments that can create wealth. So there are some of my clients who have done that from when their child is born. I've told them to gift them with an SIP. At that moment, the child does not have a PAN card, it cannot be invested in the child's name. The child is a nominee and there is a guardian which is there, but the parent can start this on the child's name right from the day the child is born. And
right.
once a child is 18, he can still keep continuing, he can add in some more money, and but the beauty of the law of compounding actually really helps. So his education and most of the things that a child want to gift can be taken care from this. So there is no right age to start investing. It is
Yes,
now. When
now.
you start earning, yes, definitely. Today, even you can get a PAN card you need a PAN card to invest, you need a KYC to be done. So yes, even a 14-year-old can get a PAN card, apply for it, and the parent can be the, joint holder in that. So anyone can start investing as early as possible. And I would say it is beneficial for all of you teenagers to start investing now, because unlike many of us, you have the advantage of time and compounding is waiting to work for you.
Right.
So take advantage of it. And today you have apps where you can start saving, where you can be more disciplined in your saving. You can decide that now. And I'm glad we are having this chat today.
So I'm just going to quickly check if we have anyone in the audience who wishes to ask any question whatsoever. I mean, this could be a good time to, get in a few questions from them, and then we can,
Sure.
continue our discussion.
Sure.
So, anyone from the audience who wishes to like ask any questions, please unmute yourself and feel free to just ask your question. I'm just going to,
Kishan Bhatt has asked you to unmute him.
yeah, I'm just going to quickly, switch off my video a little so that I can invert my phone and just read all the questions. So
Right.
I'll be back.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Kishan, I can hear it.
Okay, ma'am. So my question is like, currently I'm a software engineer. I'm from Gujarat, by the way.
Right.
So my question is like, whatever I'm earning today, at the end of the month, I only used to have like 5 to 10,000 only, and that should not be the case where I should have that kind of amount. Okay, because I should have more. So the spending is like something that uh, I used to spend on a necessary things which are not actual necessary, right? So how to overcome that thing means I want to know about that. So there are plenty of things that we used to think that okay, this one is necessary. Recently we got a new AC in the home. Why? Because the only thing is that okay, we do have savings,
Right.
right? So in this case, I mean, at the end of the month, I used to have like zero balance. So how to overcome that?
Right.
Can you
I
please
agree,
guide?
Kishan. This is a
Yeah.
question, and I think many of them are many youth and many youngsters, and not just youngsters, even people who are in their middle-aged group are facing this problem. The only thing that you can suggest here, as I said, one is having a savings budget compared to a spendings budget. That will really, really help, because that will actually get you into the discipline of saving on a constant basis. The second thing is you need to differentiate between your needs and your wants. See, you may need a good house, okay, comfortable, but your want may be something that I want, I want on a beach, and I want so many other things. Or the need could be, I want a phone which I can use to call, and which I can use to attend webinars, or attend various things. But the want, that your need could be, but the want could be, I want the latest iPhone.
Right.
So that's something where you need to actually work on. These are the simple things, and these are about habits. And this is really, really important, because a lot of times I have dealt with a lot of people, including celebrities, who earn very, very well. But they are always at the end of the month, they do not have enough money in their account, because their lifestyle is such and they are used to that lifestyle. So the important
Exactly,
thing,
ma'am.
yeah, the important thing here, Kishan, to understand is you have to do responsible spending. You have to understand the difference between your needs and your wants. It will take some working on it, but believe me, once you start noting it down, once you create your cash flow, and once you have your, what is the important things in between the needs and your wants, once you realize it yourself, you have yourself admitted it, sometimes it's unnecessary. I bought a certain thing, but I don't take it. Kabhi, there are sales, there are a lot of sales available, right? And we start buying clothes and we think, "Arey, discount mein mil raha hai, to abhi le le." But we do
Yeah,
not
exactly.
realize that we may not use it after buying it.
Exactly.
So that's what we need to address here. I hope I've
And
answered.
also, ma'am,
Yeah.
yeah, and also, ma'am, I have also like started investing on SIPs,
Yeah.
and I started with like some small amount of like 5,000 or something. But it is helping me a lot. Like I am seeing the amount which is going on the SIPs. Like, okay, I'm investing over here, and after 3 or 4 years, I may be getting lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees, right? So
Right.
that thing is helping. And apart from SIPs, do you have any suggestions, like which are the areas where we can invest money and get a good return?
Right. Absolutely. So there are various, it's about asset allocation. There are various asset classes which are available. Again, that depends on an individual's risk appetite and an individual's, amounts and what it needs to be done. So that we can definitely take on a one-on-one individual thing. But yes, to start off with, SIPs is the best thing, because that brings in discipline.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you very much for the answers.
Thanks, Kishan. You're welcome.
Thank you, Kishan. That was a good question. I hope you got your answer. And if you have more questions, feel free to answer, like ask us. Also, anybody else here in the audience with any other question? Anybody else with respect to anything?
I'm sure you have a lot of questions.
Yeah, it could be really basic actually. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, something that's very specific. It could be very generic also. So don't be afraid to, step up, ask your questions. Just unmute your mics and ask away.
Kedar says nothing coming in the mind.
Nothing.
Okay, I will ask something. So
Yeah.
people in India have this tendency to, save and then
Your voice is echoing. Rashmi.
buy property. What do you
1 second. I think
say about this?
Rashmi, your voice was echoing. I didn't get your
we
question.
couldn't get a word. Yeah.
Was I audible?
Okay, wait. Let us come back to Rashmi, I guess, once if she's, when she has better internet.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm back.
In
Yeah.
the chat. Yeah.
Okay,
Am
hi.
I audible?
Okay, we lost her again. All right. Anybody else with any questions? Kedar, whenever you do have something coming to your mind, please feel free to ask. This is I think this is the best thing about this entire webinar. It's meant for the basic questions. It's meant
Right.
for
Sanjana said,
the beginners.
yeah, Sanjana told me no presentation. We teenagers have so many questions to ask. So I was all prepared to answer a lot of questions.
Yeah, and I think I mean I was of the opinion that people just tend to get really intimidated with like a lot of data pushed in front of them, like,
Very true.
this is how we go, this is what we do, and then suddenly it's like all about money. I mean, which brings me to this question, okay?
Yeah.
What do you think is one one thing, one mistake, or one I think we have a question from Rashmi Chand. I'll just finish this question, maybe then we can take that next.
Right.
Yeah. So this is what do you think is the one biggest mistake that teenagers or like young adults make when it comes to money? Like, maybe they got their first internship, like you said, or they just happen to have I think it's also called casual winnings. Like maybe they won a bet, maybe they won a competition, and they have this real urge to like spend it away. Like maybe they party, or they just just don't care about the money, thinking that aage aur aayega.
Right.
So what is your take on that whole?
So I don't want to be a killjoy because I'm also a parent to a teenager. And yes, I would say you should enjoy your money. So it's not about just, thinking about tomorrow, I'm going to have I want to be financially free at age 30 or, 40. And today I'm just going to continue putting everything and investing. Sorry, I'm not here to say that. I want you to enjoy your money. I want you to enjoy your teenhood. So I would say at this point of time, it is about the discipline. Even if you can save 10 to 20% of that amount. If you're 20-year-old, say, okay, 20%, good enough. But start saving and start investing. You don't need to save everything again, as I said. And yes, one more aspect I would like to put here, Sanjana, it's, I would want to inculcate another habit, which I always talk to when I talk to teenagers or even all my clients. It's about giving. There's a lot of abundance that is there. And if you are fortunate enough to earn something, you need to also get into the habit of giving maybe 5% of what you've earned. And that is something which gives you a feeling of satisfaction. And that can really, really continue. And I would not say, again, only in form of money. You can also give in the form of time. You can also educate and help other teenagers and other people in your life in whatever way. And that's in the form of giving. So I always inculcate about responsible spending and about giving. So these things need to be kept in mind.
That's such a beautiful thought. I don't think people kind of stop and wait and think about such small thoughtful actions. That's
Right.
such a sweet thing to say. We have three people. I think Kishan wants to ask something, James has a question,
Right.
and so does Rashmi. So I'm using my phone because of which I'll have to tilt my head this way. So I'm
Right.
going to quickly turn off my video and read out the question.
Yeah. So I think Rashmi's question is, I can read the question here.
All right. So we could just read the question out loud and then
Yeah.
we can start answering. All right.
Right. So Rashmi's question is, people have this tendency to save and invest in properties or real estate. What are your views on it? So, well, Rashmi, I would say real estate and properties is one investment asset class, which is there. It's an illiquid investment. So I would suggest it could be a part of your real estate. I mean, a part of your entire asset allocation, which could be around, say, 20, 30%. But you need to also invest in liquid assets. So equity, mutual funds, stocks, these are all liquid mutual assets because liquid assets, because this can be available to you at any point of time when you require it. So in that case, I would suggest it should be a mix, again, depending on a person's age, risk appetite, and there are various factors on which it can be decided upon. Yeah. So can I go to the next question, Rashmi?
Yeah, she's given a thumbs up. I
Okay.
think, yeah. Then we have James here asking, what are the precautions to take when you invest in SIP?
Right. So James, a very good question again. SIP means systematic investment plan. It's about getting into the discipline of investing in the markets. Now, when I say in mutual funds, SIP is a mode of investment. It's not a kind of a product. A lot of people get confused and say, "Mujhe SIP karna hai." And I say, okay, you can invest in mutual funds. So they say, okay, but mujhe SIP karna hai. So SIP is a mode of payment. Okay, I'm just sharing this for everyone. And when you invest in mutual funds, there are different kinds of mutual funds. There is liquid mutual fund, there is equity mutual fund, there is debt mutual fund. Again, in equity mutual fund, there are various types. So we'll have a separate session if required for that. But the thing that you need to take care of is you need to know that SIP is such where you need to be disciplined and investing on a regular basis. If you're investing in what kind of fund, that is what you need to understand. Again, that depends on your age, risk appetite, etc. If you are a huge risk taker, small cap funds are also there. But I would suggest for teenagers who are starting off, they can have a mix of a diversified equity mutual fund. And yes, if you want, you can have a small SIP in a small cap fund for a long term, because that will help you generate wealth. Why I keep saying equity? Because if you want to generate wealth, you need to invest in equity mutual funds.
Well, that was nice. I think we have Kishan back here, and also I think Abhi has asked a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I want to save 10,000 per month, should I go for two 5,000 SIPs? Yes, you can do that. You can go in for two SIPs, and gradually you can increase it on the way, and you can diversify that into two different SIPs. That is very much can be done.
Right.
And you can do that on Money Prastha app. We have a feature called a Smart Assistant on Money Prastha app. So once you do your risk app, we also have a profile where your risk profile is done. They ask you certain questions. Once you fill it, you know what's your risk appetite. And once that is done, the Smart Assistant guides you. It's an AI which will help you to decide which investments you can go in for and which SIPs you can go in for. So please try it and do give us your feedback on it.
Right. Yeah, please do that, guys. I'm still kind of exploring the app, to be honest. So yeah.
We want to make it more user friendly, so your feedback will really, really help us.
Yeah, I'm glad I kind of stumbled upon it so early, because it kind of feels the whole personal touch that you're talking about, like it really kind of shines through. The fact that I am able to like be here talking to you directly, asking you questions directly about your own app, it's crazy. I think this is this value I don't think can be provided anywhere else. So yeah.
Thanks, Anjana.
All right, so I think we have a question from Akash. Then we have Natasha raising her hand. Also, Kishan was here a while back, so we can also have his question answered.
Should I go ahead?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So my other question was like, ma'am, can we like invest some money on like life insurance as well? Because generally what happens actually is like whenever we have medical emergency, right? So at the end, what we will get is like the insurance agent used to have number of reasons, and they used to like hands there up and say like, okay, we can't do anything, and we can't give like a percentage of amount that hospital has charged, and plenty of things used to come. So I just want to know like what are the key like major areas where we can do the life insurance, right, and do the good benefits from it.
Right. Very good question again, Kishan. So I've been in the life insurance industry for most of my career as well, where I've been a development officer, where I'm also a fellowship in life insurance. So you've asked the right question. And yes, I always believe you should not mix investment with insurance. Okay, वो बोलते हैं ना investment और insurance की बीमारी साथ में लेने की बीमारी, because insurance is pure for risk management. Okay, if you are the breadwinner of the family, you need to ensure that you have enough insurance available, which is in case of an unfortunate death in the family of the breadwinner, this insurance amount takes care of the loss of income to the family. That is life insurance. And then comes health insurance. Very, very important. We have seen it. I mean, it's so important today when we look in the pandemic, when the bills that have come in, when people have been, admitted in the hospital, people have realized the importance of insurance. So as I had shared, when Sanjana shared about her friend, I told her the first thing before even starting investing, what you need to do is first ensure that the contingency is taken care of, which includes emergency and risk management. So you should set aside money for the health insurance of your family members, and you should set aside and pay a premium to a company where you transfer the risk of that health problem that would happen, where in case of a hospitalization, you transfer that risk to that company by paying them a premium. So that tomorrow, if you would have otherwise, what happens, a lot of people say कि वो देखा जाएगा, मैं तो बीमार नहीं गिरने वाला हूँ. and they invest their money in the market. And at the same time, even the market falls, their investments have come down and they need money because there's someone in the family who's not well and they want to pull out their money from the market. Classic burnt finger syndrome बोलते हैं कि ना market में जब भी मैं जाता हूँ market गिर जाता है, when they take the money and they use it and then they have, they are lost. So you need to ensure कि risk management is very, very important. Your health cover is important. All of you, first thing that you need to do, if you have not been covered under your family health insurance, you need to take a health insurance for yourself. If you are working with a company, ensure that you're covered under the group health insurance. And in spite of that, please take a health insurance cover in your name. And we provide that on our Money Prastha platform as well. If you say that I need health insurance, we will provide you the best quote in the industry that is available. We are not married to any particular company like an ICICI or an HDFC. We will give you the best quote that is available. So if you just tell us, okay, I need to, have my risk management, we will ensure that we'll give you the best quote for health insurance as well as term insurance where required. So I would say you need to do that first. So put aside a premium. Again, as I said, in your pay yourself first, a yearly premium goes towards health insurance and term insurance for those who require it. And then you need to ensure a small amount of money which should be invested for your long term to take care of your needs.
Right.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Also, Sanjana ma'am, don't forget to share the recording with me because I'm right now traveling and I have a lot of network issues, so I did not get the answer clearly. So that's
Sure thing, Kishan. Sure thing.
and thank you, ma'am, for your kind answer. Really
Welcome.
appreciate.
You're welcome, Kishan.
We have Akash who has a question in the chat box, and then we have Natasha and Anshuman.
Right.
So we can start with Akash, I guess. Yeah.
Akash will have to unmute himself.
Yeah, hi. So my question is, what I noticed, we see kids these days, they usually invest more in cryptos, and they don't really understand anything about mutual funds or equity investments, but find investing in such a risky asset class like cryptocurrencies as probably a better bet than say the other standard investment options. Just wanted to know what are your thoughts around that and what would be your message to them?
All right. Akash, the simple message is higher the risk, higher the return. Okay. Yeah. Cryptocurrency at the moment, there is no proper regulation, but yes, it's a fad. And I have even heard my son talking about it because there's so much of exposure on the net and so many ads, and you suddenly see a lot of people making a lot of money. But we've also have luckily seen a lot of the cryptocurrency value even falling, and on Twitter at times when I'm on Twitter, it's a real game, when you certainly see some of them and say, oh, I've made so much money today, and then they were all like, oh my god, this just went into minus. So yes, I would not recommend it for youngsters, but yes, I would say if you have enough money, then you can keep 1% aside, which is, again, it's a gamble. I would not advise that, but yes, because it's like sometimes you learn from your experiences and your mistakes, and you need to just ensure how it can be done. So it could be legalized now, but again, it is a higher risk. RBI has come out with a circular and all that, but I would still go on to say it's better to go more and tread into safer investments. And when you're starting off, the burnt finger syndrome, as I've always seen, I've heard a lot of people who are in the age group of 50 to 55, they don't even invest in equity mutual funds because they have lost money at a particular age and they've lost all their money. And they feel that when they have put money in the market has gone down. And and I know it would never be possible. It is not of a single person. I had actually told one client, if you feel so, next time when you put your money, please inform me, because that's the money that time I will also invest, because if market is going down, मैं ज़्यादा पैसा डालूंगी.
Oh God, okay.
So you need to be aware of this. It's risk versus return. You need to be smart enough. Yes, if you still want to try it out, I would say okay, because our youngsters want experiences. They want to learn from some mistakes. But always you can, I would say there are 2-3 things. One, learn from others' mistakes. tread on it slowly. If you want to experiment it, fine. 1% of what you have, try karo. And you have to be very careful in cryptocurrency. It can be suddenly wiped out as well. So you have to be very careful of your assets because you can't see it.
Right. Thank you so much for that answer. That's very helpful, actually.
Yeah, thanks, Akash.
Thank you.
All right. So I have just requested Natasha to unmute herself because she has
Yeah,
raised.
hi.
Hi,
Yeah.
Natasha.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, what are some of the safest ways to invest money for teenagers who are just starting out, like who don't have much knowledge about investments and, about the market and stuff?
Right. So, Natasha, as I said, the safest is definitely mutual funds. And because it is regulated, okay, and you're investing in the market, so you can make wealth if it is kept for the long term. And as teenagers today, you have the benefit of time. You have the benefit of compounding, which is the eighth magical wonder of the world. I will definitely share the story with you in one of our, next sessions, because it is the eighth magic wonder of the world. And it's been from years that people are aware of it. We were taught about it in school, but unfortunately, it is said even by Albert Einstein, that people who don't use the benefit of law of compounding usually pay it in the form of EMIs by compounding. Because even your credit card loans, returns, and all that is compounding. So if you want your money to compound, and if you want and you have the benefit of time as a teenager today, mutual fund SIPs are the best ways, and Money Plus, the app, is the right way through the smart assistant, where we can guide you.
All right, thank you.
I hope I answer your question now. Anshuman has a question.
Yep. And I think we also have
hi.
Kedar
So
ask a question.
Yes, Anshuman.
Yeah, I have a long sort of a question. So should I go in parts or should I ask it all at once?
Sure, ask me once, and I'll break it up and I'll tell you.
All right. So it is like you said that we should look for a percentage of income that we should be saving. So
Right.
ideally, what percentage of income should it be?
Okay.
And then you also spoke about the emergency fund that we need to cater for. So shouldn't we leave some amount of it in our savings account as well, or should we put everything into liquid funds and FDs? And is FD still a safe option? Like saying that we're getting just an interest rate of about 6%. So is it
Right.
better to invest in that, or is it better to invest in mutual funds or liquid funds?
All right. Perfect question. I got the full question, and I think it's in sequence. So the first thing that you mentioned was, how do we save it in parts? Okay. So I would normally suggest that at least 20 to 30% for a person who's working and who's having a family to take care of, on that person would be different. As a teenager today, I would say you can save around, say, 30%. Again, you can play with the numbers. So you can save 30%. I would say 10% it would be your play money, so to reward yourself, because you are teenagers, you deserve to have some money to have fun. So 10% can go there. 10% would be to invest in yourself. So it could be in education, it could be in courses, it could be in upgrading your skills. You can decide that amount. So I said 30, 40, 50, 50%. Another 10% could be in giving, if you can do it. Again, I'm giving you just a thumb rule. You can always decide on how you want to divide that money. And 10% would be on various things that you would want to invest in. So you could actually divide the money. It could be a 50, 30, 20, if I tell you. And a 5% you can keep aside 50, 80, 100. So I would say 50, 30, 20 is the formula which is normally used. But for you, I would break it down into also 10 and 5%, where I would say 10% invest in yourself for your upgrading and skills, and 5% can go in for giving. So have I answered your first question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Second question about emergency funding, which you said. Yes, you need to have an emergency funding, where I've always talked about 3 to 6 months of expenses that needs to be kept aside, and that can be kept in a savings account. There could be a way where you can actually have a swipe in account from your savings to an FD, because that can be easily available. Okay, so a lot of banks also allow this, where some amount goes from your savings to your FD account. So you get a little better rate of interest. I also recommend people who are, not teenagers, but yes, people who are working and who have to also to business and entrepreneurs, to have an additional OD account, because you're only charged interest when you are pulling out the money or using the money from that account. So that's as an emergency. So 3 to 6 months of expenses has to be kept. Apart from that, you can keep a little bit more if it is available in your liquid fund. That is, because normally we said in a pandemic kind of a time, at least we needed around 9 months of expenses, 9 to 10 months of expenses, because there was a lot of loss of jobs that were happening. People have lost their jobs and they had to still take care of all other expenses. So in such scenarios, you need to keep aside an amount in liquid funds, because that is available to you within 24 hours. It's also earning more money. And FDs, definitely the rate of interest is low, inflation eats into it. That is why you should not keep all your money. If you want your money to grow, the long-term assets are separate. The emergency funding is the FD liquid. It is the base of your pyramid, actually, your contingency funding. Once that is strong, then you build your investments.
Ma'am, so like you said, if we have liquid funds, do we still need to go in for FDs, or we can park all our, like if I want an emergency fund, separate emergency fund, should I put
Right.
everything into the liquid fund?
You can put it in liquid funds. But again, liquid funds are in the market. Okay, so there could be a slight up and down. It is definitely safe. But I would suggest keeping some amount, which is, your everyday expenses, like your month's expenses. If there is someone who's having, like you'd say, the basic necessities, food, clothing, shelter, traveling, those amounts should be kept in your savings linked to your FD. At least if your money is there for around, you need it for 3 to 6 months, you would not need it, that amount can go into your liquid fund.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Anshuman, if you have follow-up questions in a bit, you can definitely come again and shoot the question. I think we have another one from Kedar. It's in the chat box, I think.
Yeah. He says, in case we are not investing in regularly, will it be okay? So yes, Kedar, again, it depends on the kind of income. Now, if I would say there is a salaried person, there is a fixed income coming into his account month on month. So he can definitely get into the discipline of saying, just say the money that, the sound of I always tell them that when the sound of the mobile saying that, oh, the money has been credited to your account, what should I do now? So the first thought that should come, oh, I should first invest a part of it and then remaining can be spent. Okay. But in case it's an entrepreneur, or it could be, someone who's a business owner or who's a professional, and where the income is not coming month on month, there could be in 1 month he's getting a lump sum amount and then you have to be more disciplined. So there I would suggest some of them. I have done that for my clients, where I have put the money in liquid fund as the lump sums come and start the SIPs gradually. And the other way which has worked is I have first decided their goal. So if they know, for example, I'm taking vacation in Paris here because it's exciting and we have teenagers. So if it's my goal of having a vacation in Paris and I'm going to need say 1 lakh after 2 years, so I'm planning for it from today. But I am a teenager and I'm on internships, I'm doing some YouTube channels and some other things, and I'm getting income from various sources, but it's not a consistent income. So then what I do is, whenever I get these lump sum incomes, I start parking it towards that, and then I do a recalculation ki how far I have towards my goal, and then I keep investing. So there the lot of onus of discipline and consistency comes on you. And if you have something like a money prastha which will keep reminding you, then it will really help you as a hand holding tool.
Yeah, Kedar, if you want to unmute yourself and let us know if your question is answered. If not, you can, chip back in and, give a follow-up question. We'll try our best to answer the question. All right. So before we jump on to the next question, I had a question actually. So how do you choose a good mutual fund? Like, what is a good mutual fund? Like, there are so many options. Sometimes I think, there's a problem of choice here. Not
Right.
lack of choice. It's the abundance of choice that kind of makes it really, really foggy to kind of put your foot down and say that I think, hey, this is the one,
So for them, Sanjana, we have this wonderful smart assistant. It's AI built, which actually reduces all, which, removes out all the confusion and says, just do this. This is good for you. Because that has been done through a back-end research. We have done the research and put it out, and you just need to follow it. Because we are looking at it on a regular basis, and on that basis, it is being put.
I think we have two questions in the chat box. One is from Rajaram, and the other is, I'm not sure. Wait, I just missed it.
Vibhish Sampath, I believe.
Right, Vibish. So let's go chronologically. We can start
Yeah.
with the first question. Yeah.
So Rajaram says, for a youngster who's just turning 18 and gets only monthly pocket money, how can Money Prastha help? Yes, as I said, it's not about how much money you have, it's how much money you keep. If you're able to save from the money, pocket money you get, and yes, if you're able to convince your parent that you are a responsible spender and you want to invest your money in a proper way, maybe your mom will add up some money, which I have done for my son to encourage him. So if he says I'm able to save 1,000, I said, okay, I'll top it up with another 1,000 and we'll invest 2,000 for you. So if you're able to do that and you're able to help out in some more chores at home and your parents feel, oh, my son really, really is responsible enough and I can really help him, have money conversations at home. That's what I would say. And I think you would definitely have the skills. You teenagers have lovely skills where you will say, okay, my son does that to me. He says, I'll do this work, but you invest for me in stocks. I invest in mutual funds. So I think it is possible, and Money Prastha is there to help you and take you to the, help you achieve financial freedom very soon.
Right. Okay. We have another question.
Yeah, Vibhi says, my mic isn't working properly. Okay. If someone is interested in doing their own analysis and picking up stocks, what percentage of their portfolio would you suggest to do that, while the rest can be focused on mutual funds for long term? Again, Vibish, the answer is the same. It again depends on your risk appetite and your age, if and on also the tenure, the term for which you want to invest the money. You could definitely, mutual funds is nothing but it's a group of stocks that are selected, which there is a fund manager, it is regulated. So you could definitely do that. Again, depending on your age, if you're a teenager and if you say, okay, I can really, really look into stocks and I feel I'm very confident, because there are various factors when it comes to selecting a stock. And again, you need to be careful on various aspects. Keep it stock, how is it doing, what is the management, who is the management, and how is the, whether it's a sectoral stock. So there are many factors which are involved. So definitely you can do it. You can go on a 50-50 basis. Again, depends on you. It's your choice.
And for people who have any questions about certain words that are being used here, it could be very simple, but don't hesitate. If you don't understand what you mean by portfolio, if you don't understand SIP, if you don't understand what is the difference between, say, a mutual fund and stock, please don't hesitate. The question can be as simple as, what do you mean by portfolio? That could also be a question. So don't don't feel small. I personally am a person who was absolutely zero when it comes to money. I really didn't know anything. It's very recently that I've started investing. So, and I'm telling you, this is the best place, because Neeta here is so calm and so gracefully answering all your questions. So feel free to okay,
Right. Sanjana, my aim has always been, as I always said, I have to make the complex as simple as possible.
right.
So, in case I've not been able to make it simple, please tell me, I'll make it simpler.
Yeah, no,
I want
absolutely. So
everyone to understand.
I'm just trying to make it, as layman as possible. So we did get a question from Varun here. What is
Right.
portfolio? I did have a feeling that many people here, listeners, might not quite understand the word. Yeah. So you can.
Right. So Varun says, what before that, should we address the other questions? How can you choose a stock to invest in? What are the points to consider? This question
Uh,
in mind.
sure, we can do that. Or also after that question, we can just make a quick understanding of,
Right. So
what
what is a
is.
good portfolio basically is, it is a mix. It's like the mix of investments that is there in your investments. So it could be like you have stocks, which are actually companies which you are an owner of. You're a shareholder. So those are stocks. Mutual funds are a mix of stocks where, there is it is governed by a body, like in insurance we have IRDA, in here we have SEBI. So it governs the entire thing. There is a fund manager who takes the calls, who understands each and every company, and on that basis gets the number of stocks together and you invest. So there an NAV, which is net asset value, is done. We'll actually need a special session to do all
Right.
these things.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
a portfolio, it is like, what is there in your basket. So I would say a portfolio is a basket. In your investment basket, what all do you have? So you could have stocks, you could have mutual funds, you could have FDs, you could have savings account, you could have your real estate, you could have gold. So what is in your portfolio? So when I say portfolio, it is the aggregate of the investments in your basket, the simplest way to put it.
Nice. This is good. And I think from whatever little you explained about mutual funds and stocks, I get the understanding that stocks becomes somehow it just is higher risk because now you completely decide where and what to do, and it's your brain and like you own it. Mutual funds comparatively is lesser risk because you're trusting a professional to do the whole research bit and to just like kind of go deep dive into the market. And I'm trusting an expert, and I'm not trusting the stock,
Right.
is what I understand with mutual
Exactly.
funds.
So stock would be, I would say, suppose, what would I say? Nestle. Okay. That's a company. That is a stock. Okay. Otherwise, Britannia is a stock. These are in the FMCG. Or there would be a pharma stock. There would be a certain company. But in mutual funds, there would be different different kinds of stocks. There would be at least 25, 30 or 40 stocks in one mutual fund, which is selected by the fund manager, and he decides the movement. So
That makes it very simple. Now it's easier to understand. Yeah.
right.
Okay, we have Anshuman raising his hand, before which I think we do have a lot of questions in the chat box and people who have questions. So let's go one by one. Yeah.
So Varun, I think I said, how can you choose a stock? We've just answered that. Sagar Nayak. Hi, I'm doing SIP since last 14 years. Now I stopped all SIPs due to my company shutdown, Jet Airways. And again, I want to start SIP. Are you suggesting 50,000, 52,000 Sensex is the right time? This is a wonderful question, Sagar, because everyone says, कि मैं कभी invest करूं? Should I wait for the markets to go down? So it is very important. No one can time the market. I'm not a magician too. No advisor is a magician. No fund manager is a magician. The markets, you have to be in the market. You cannot time the market. You have to be in the market and you have to experience the market. So I would say, and yes, India is a growth story today. And definitely we have things where, the market will go from 50,000. It is expected to go to a lakh within the next 10 years. Sensex I'm talking about. When we had started, when I was a teenager, the markets were at 6,000. Okay. It went from 6,000 and then it has its ups and downs. It is like, when I have this experience when I talk to doctors, since I have been consulting a lot of surgeons. So I talk to them in the doctor language. So I'll share that with you. If you see an ECG, okay, the ECG goes up and down. Okay. When the ECG goes straight, matlab aadmi gaya. It has to go up and down. And you have the benefit of going up and down if you are consistent in the market, if you are in the market. So there is no time. You cannot time the market. You cannot say कि अभी market गिर गया तो मैं पैसा निकाल के बैठ जाऊंगा and then I will invest when the market goes up. Big problem, because when the market goes up, you should not invest. You can book your profits, or you can be there for the market to go higher. So two important things are always there when it comes to markets, which you need to remember, that is greed and fear. Okay, when there is greed, people go and say, market market is said that it will go up, and news, CNBC and everyone, all news channels will be saying now market is going up. People will come and say, ye kharido, ye karo, wo karo, and people are all gung-ho, all advisor ka sir, 10% it will go up, and a lot of people fall prey to that. And when the markets are going down, people get scared. And I have heard a lot of people, even in this pandemic, they thought the markets will fall and they have removed their money and they've kept it at home, thinking I'll invest when the market comes. There is no guarantee what will happen, but markets were doing well. In fact, it has gone to 52,000 now and going higher. So you need to be invested. SIP is the best way to invest in the market in a staggered way. Start getting invested, because otherwise you will repent in 10 years when you see the Sensex at 1 lakh plus. And then you think, oh, I should have done that 10 years back. Sorry, it is now. The time is now. There's no right time.
So shubh kam mein deri kya? Something like that. So we do have a lot of questions, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the next one is, oh my God, where were we? It's gone up. What's your opinion on investing in gold? Should one invest in gold? Like, would you recommend that? Yes, gold can be a part of your portfolio, as I said, your investment basket, but not more than 2 to 5% I would recommend. And today we have sovereign gold bonds. That's one of the good investments. It's available on Money Prastha as well, where you can invest in sovereign gold bonds, where you get a percentage on today's value gold. You don't have to even store that gold. It's all in, ETF form. It's in the form of paperless. So it can be a part of your portfolio. But as I said, now to start off with, a diversified equity mutual fund portfolio would be good for a lot of teenagers. And gold could be a part of the overall portfolio, which is not more than 2 to 5%, I would recommend. Rajaram says, does Money Prastha also help opening a demat account for a new investor in equity stocks? Yes, it does. You can go onto our app and you can directly go and open your demat account. Palak says, I never really understood what is the difference between ETFs and mutual funds. Okay, Palak, ETF is exchange trade funds, and there is mutual funds. So it's a type of a mutual fund itself. We'll have more of a detailed session on this. And it is a way of investing in certain, exchange, I would say in gold and various other investments. I mean, it would not be particular stocks, but you could invest in other commodities and various other things as well. What are your thoughts? Should I go on, Sanjana?
Yeah, we can do that. Or we can just have Anshuman ask his follow-up question and then we can continue.
Right.
Yeah, ma'am. So how can we decide what are our short-term and long-term goals? Like, what is the time period for a
Right.
short-term goal?
So short-term goal would be around 3 years. Okay. And 5 years to 10 years would be, and 10 years plus would be long-term goals. So if you want to buy, say, a car in 3 years from now, so that would be a short-term goal. So there you could, a debt fund or a equity mutual fund would be normally for long-term goals. So 5 years plus is always, actually even now we say around 6 years plus is for equity mutual funds, which is a long-term.
So when we look at
it, 1 year, sorry.
When we look at a short-term, like for a period of 3 years, we should go in particularly for hybrid or debt funds? Is it debt funds? Is it so?
Yes. Hybrid would be a better option.
All right, thank you.
Right. I got this question from a young friend. I'm just going to ask, what is a demat account?
Okay. So if you want to invest in stocks, okay, you need to have a demat account to invest in stocks. So it is, dematerializing. Matlab, it's not in paper form. Your stocks are in demat form. So yeah, so you need to open a demat account, which can be done through a bank or through a broking firm. And once that is done, you can invest in stocks from there.
All right. So is it like the initial paperwork, but virtual paperwork in order to become eligible to invest in stocks?
Right. You need it is a required. You need a demat account and a trading account. So where your stocks once bought will be kept in your demat account, and your trading account helps you to do the transaction, buying and selling of the stock.
All right. I think now we can go back to the chat and we can start answering one by one. I think the next one was wait.
So what are your thoughts on investing in index funds?
Yeah.
Right. So I would say index funds are, in comparison to the Sensex, how it moves along with how the Sensex moves. So one safe way could be yes, but we have wonderful diversified mutual funds which are there, and who do not want to take a higher risk. Index funds is also good enough. So the mutual fund, which is the index mutual fund, it works along with the index. When I say index, again, let me make it simple. So the Sensex, okay, so what's the Sensex?
Yeah.
Okay. The Sensex is, I would say, it's an indicator of the top the top stocks. Okay. And there is an indicator which tells you, okay, what is, like today the Sensex is 52,000. That's what we call it. Okay. So it's an indicator ki how the market is performing. So they take the top stocks and how they are performing, and they do the reading on the basis of that. So index funds or index mutual funds are in alignment with that. So it moves along with those because it has those top 30, 40, 50 funds in that mutual fund.
Right.
So that is one way of investing. It is a good way. you can invest in index mutual funds. And we also have, I mean, I would normally recommend diversified equity mutual funds, because there's a little mix of equity of various large cap, small cap, and short cap. Large cap are the companies where the market cap is the highest, and so they are more secure, I would say, more secure and safe. Then there is mid cap and there is small cap. Small cap are the new companies which are like starting off and which are just listed, which could be a little risky, but in the long run could make good returns. So it's always better to go in for a diversified equity mutual fund. That is my advice again, but it depends. It's not, I mean, you can either.
So I just had another question. Do we need a demat account for mutual funds as well?
It's not compulsory. You can have.
Okay.
Yeah, but for demat you don't need I mean, for mutual funds you don't need a demat account. You can
All right.
directly invest. So
All right.
demat in short would be an electronic form of your even mutual fund or your stocks, but we don't require it.
Got it. Got it. Who do we have next here?
With a high risk appetite, how much do you suggest to divide between debt and equity funds? Also the same amount in lump sum or SIP. For example, should I invest 3.6 lakhs in May once, or should I do 30K in 12 months? Okay. So if you have a high risk appetite, means you want to take more risk, I would suggest you can go in up to, again, depending on your age, you can go in up to 70 to 80% in equity mutual funds or equity stocks, depending on what you have said. How much do you suggest divide between debt and equity? So it would be 80-20 could be the ratio that you could go in for. And also the same amount in lump sum or SIP. Yes. For example, should I invest 3.6 lakh in May or months, or should I do 30K? If you have 3.6 lakhs already, you can invest it. You can put it in a staggered way. Or if you have money coming in a consistent basis, for them, I mean, it's coming month on month like 36,000, then SIP is definitely the way ahead.
Great.
So again, it depends. I would say if you're having lump sums and you can just enter the market and allow it to grow, because the compounding will take over the other things. But if you're getting money where, as a teenager, I mean, normally because we're talking to teenagers, the money may come consistently in spurts. So that's when you can also keep investing. You don't need to accumulate it, and then because then inflation will eat into it.
Right,
it will be lying.
So she said understood. I just got a message saying, yes, I understood. Okay, that's great. All right, next.
Wow,
we
I'm
have-
happy to see so many questions now.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, do we have more? Or maybe I can ask a few from my kitty.
Anshuman, you said, can go next.
Anshuman did go next. I think he
Okay, finished.
yes. So one second. Do we have any other questions here? So which I had this question actually. If you start, if you choose like, a mutual fund and you invest in it, and after a few months you feel that it's not doing well, so you just think, okay, maybe I should switch. Basically, you're unsure about your choices. So I think this happens a lot because you see someone, your friend must have invested in something else and it did better for them. Or so should I just trust my gut and do the thinking before investing, or should I switch, or is it okay to switch in between and change your mind of investing, removing from one place and putting it in another?
See, it can be done. I mean, that's where Money Prastha will come to help you out, because we'll be doing a lot of research and other things on our side as well. And we will be checking it and telling you, and we'll also have the current news. So we know that something really drastic is happening, and we've got a lot of our clients invested in this particular fund. So we will put out a thing saying that, okay, it's time you move out. But normally it's about being invested in the long term in a particular fund, because every time you come out of it, maybe there will be capital gains as well, which happens as a tax part of it, which comes as a later part. So you should remain with it for a long time. But yes, since it's a mutual fund, the fund manager himself also is doing a lot of changes in the stock. So you don't need to worry so much when it comes to a mutual fund.
Right.
Because there, as I said, that's the reason why I said the risk is lower. The return is, on a mutual fund normally is around 12% year on year, which is there if it is for a long term. And that's the benefit of compounding, and that's the benefit of having a mutual fund. If your money is invested for 6 to 7 years, you'll see the benefit. And I have seen stats where, you know, the statistics of a particular fund doing extremely well, but some of the people who have that fund have not done well. So the fund has given, in the last 10 years, it's given 20% returns, whereas I've seen a person who has invested in that fund has got 12% or lesser returns. The reason being because he has switched.
Right.
Yeah, so the fund has done well because, yeah, definitely when market is going down and up, as I said, it's an ECG. So it's that it may happen that you take the fund and after 6 months you'll see, oh, it's a negative. But hold on, you have done this investment for a long term.
Right.
You've not done it for 1 year or 2 years.
Right.
So that's where the compounding will help you if you are patient enough, if you're disciplined, and that's very important, because it's very important to tell all of you. You may feel, oh, I'll put in money and after 6 months when I see it, it should double. Sorry. If that's it, then you keep your money in savings or FDs. Inflation, it is not into doubling. You need to keep your money for 6 years plus.
All right.
Equity mutual funds.
So I'll tell you. So this was great. Thank you so much. I think we have two more questions.
Okay.
After which I would like for you to give a message to all, or I mean, if people have more questions, sure, you can go ahead. But if we don't, then I would like to, hear you like summing it up for us in whatever way you can. And
Right.
then we could just, talk a little about the app and how people can use the app and get it downloaded and stuff like that.
Right.
And, we can make this sweet, nice, small thing. All right.
Right. So yeah, what is you want me to ask one last question is here?
I think there are two. Yeah, there are two. I think
one, which you said plenty of questions are coming in your way. So I think I'll keep mum. I have already asked 2 questions. Kitchen is saying that. And iPhone, I don't know who this is, but a general question: how do you take the call about satisfying your wants and investing? Example, do I buy that car right now or invest that money in the market? Okay. Because even 10 lakh invested today would compound to a huge amount in 30 years. This is extremely confusing. So true. That's exactly where your needs and wants come. That's exactly where you have to take a decision, because I would say ki your financial planning and your entire investment is a sum of the decisions you make today, the choices you make. So if you feel what is more important to you, is that trip which you have decided after a year, is that more important to you, or is that latest iPhone which is coming at a discount today more important to you?
yeah,
That's when you make that call, and that's when you will be able to buy. And will it be that experience of going there to Paris and enjoying that vacation and that thrill that, okay, I have spent, I have saved for my goal and I've been able to do it. So that is what needs to be done. So it is a choice, as I said. It is once you achieve it, you feel so nice.
Right.
So you need to ensure that it is done in it's about the freedom, and it's about the choices, and it's about the decisions you make on a regular basis. So yes, it is confusing, but yes, you have to apply. And if it is done today, if you correct it and you do that today, it's going to help you in the long run. I mean, we'll be having such wonderful teenagers who are financially free and you'll be stress-free life. It would be so amazing to see this, these teenagers 10-15 years from now.
absolutely. Great. I think with that, we can kind of wrap this up. It's been great. I mean, all the questions, right from the simple to a little complex to like honest, candid questions. I just absolutely love this format of like, not thinking too much before asking. I felt free. You were so warm and so graceful and so calm answering all these questions for us today.
Thank you. I think there were some questions which needed a little bit more elaboration, so I could, send them on we could send it on the chat or something like this. So please keep putting your questions and connecting to us.
Absolutely.
And we will surely share the answers. Maybe we couldn't cover a lot. A lot of basic things also need to be understood. Like, I've been saying about NAV and portfolio. That. So, it is important that these need to be addressed. And we will do that even on our app. We will try and, share
it. Absolutely. So anyone and everyone who's here, Money Prastha is right now live. You can go on to your Play Store app and just type Money Prastha and you can find the app. I strongly urge you to download the app and just explore it. Even if it doesn't mean that you're going to invest your money today, I would tell you to take out time and just explore the app. See all the features that it has to offer, especially the one that we spoke about, the goal setting. I think that's a good starting point, because once you kind of analyze as to, hey, this is what I really want and this is what I want to do, I think that's a good starting point, I would say. And if you do have any questions, like Neeta said, please feel free to, like, either DM Money Prastha directly. They have their own Instagram page. They have an FAQ as well, so you can actually read up there also. Many of your questions might already be answered, so you can just check that. And yeah, you can always DM
We'll
me
be
as well.
sharing this recording as well on the YouTube channel also of Money Prastha. So please be there and please put your questions there, and we can engage with you.
Great. All right, I think with that, Kishan, I would like to thank both of you for having this session and giving us wonderful knowledge about investing money. So sweet. Thank you so much. Great. Such sweet comments coming in. It's nice. And I think, what we could do is that, if this is the kind of response we're getting, we can also do a follow-up session, probably in a couple of weeks. And then that would be a great thing to do as well.
Right, absolutely.
All right then.
Because it's a continuous process. Learning is a continuous process, and I think the best way is to learn from others' mistakes, experience some of your own, and just start. Just start
Absolutely.
investing, continue learning.
Yeah. So I think the big takeaways would be A, save your money, start
Yes.
saving. B, download the app.
Yes.
Download the app and explore it so that you understand your options, and then let the expert do the rest for you, so you
Right.
can sit back and let your money work for you.
Absolutely. And do let us know what topics you want covered, because we are here for you. We want you to be financially literate. We want you to be financially smart. We want you to use Money Prastha as your tool, and we will equip it. We are equipping you with the tools, with the knowledge, so that you can be financially free much, much faster.
Absolutely.
And again, I will repeat, as teenagers, I'm talking to most teenagers or even parents and even others, the two most important things that you need and which you have is time and money.
Right.
The time value of money, the power of compounding. Since you are getting into the earning phase, some of them have not even started earning, you're listening to this, it's so important that it's not about knowledge alone, it's about application. So knowledge
Right.
and doing is very, very important, and that's why we have Money Prastha for the doing. So just go and implement things.
Great. I think that's a beautiful note to end this entire session. It was really wonderful having you and all of the listeners and everyone in the audience. You've been so alert, agile, and so responsive and interactive, which has just made the session so much more amazing. So thank you all for participating. And I think I'll definitely save this recording and share it so that we can revisit it.
Right.
So, all right. Thank you
So
so much,
much.
everyone.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Anjana.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Take care.